Good afternoon to you. Today we will continue with the Constitution. In the last class we have seen anti-defection law given in Schedule 10 of the Constitution and also the deficiencies therein. Today we will see the officers of Lok Sabha. Who are the officers of Lok Sabha? Two officers. Number one is Speaker, number two is Deputy Speaker. Both the incumbents are elected by the House. Both are independent in their own sphere. Neither Deputy Speaker is subordinate to Speaker, nor Speaker is subordinate to the Deputy Speaker. Both are independent in their own spheres and both are elected. Now, the office of Speaker is rooted in the British parliamentary history. At that time, originally, the House of Commons was only a petition house and not a lawmaker. The Speaker was to sum up the cases and the debates in the Commons and present the views of the House before the crowd. That is why he was called spokesperson, that is, Speaker of the House before the King. In British House of Commons, the most famous speaker was William Lenthal. He continues to occupy the high office. For nearly 17 years he occupied. He is perhaps the most famous speaker due to his defiance against the King Charles I. In January 1642, as the history says, that the monarch entered the House of Commons personally to arrest the 5 rebel members of the parliament. He is a monarch. Despite any notice, without any notice, he entered the house. William Lenthal was in the chair. The proceedings were going on. The king questioned about the whereabouts of the rebel MPs. The reply of William Lenthal was historic. It has gone down in history as a symbol of parliamentary independence of the monarchy. The speaker said, "May it please your majesty, I have neither eyes to see nor tongue to speak in this place, but as this house is pleased to direct me, whose servant I am here, and humbly beg your majesty pardon, that I cannot give you any other answer than this is to what your majesty is pleased to demand of me." Lenthal thus defied no less a person than the king by responding that in the House of Commons he owed his loyalty only to the parliament and the members thereof, and no one else. No monarch has set the foot in the house since then, that is January 1642. This is the history of British House of Commons. Thus, the Speaker is the highest ranking political officer in British Commons as well as in Lok Sabha. The Speaker has often played a pivotal role in times of uncertainty and stress. In India, the office of Speaker started in 1921 when Central Legislative Assembly was first constituted under Montagu Chelmsford reforms. Sir Frederick White was the first Speaker of the Assembly. Vithalbhai Patel was the second Speaker, but first Indian speaker appointed in 1925. These two are important from the examination point of view. Who was the first speaker? Sir Frederick White in 1921. Vithalbhai Patel, first Indian speaker, appointed in 1925. And Ganesh Vasudev Mavalankar was the first speaker of Lok Sabha in independent India, assumed office in 1952. These three are very important from the examination point of view, PT point of view. Sir Frederick White, then comes Vithalbhai Patel, Ganesh Vasudev Mavalankar. You remember, if you are in Delhi, you might have seen Mavalankar Hall, Vithalbhai Patel House. Both are in the names of our speakers. And in the warrant of precedence, speaker is placed next to the Prime Minister. He represents the dignity of the house. The house represents the nation. Therefore, the speaker becomes the symbol of liberty and freedom of the country. The speaker is chosen by the house from among the members. He holds his office until he ceases to be the member, or he himself resigns from office, or he is removed from his office by a resolution of the house. The procedure for election of speaker is: number one, the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs communicates the date for holding the first session of new Lok Sabha after general election. I remember I told you yesterday how the pro tem speaker is appointed. He is appointed by the President of India, normally the senior most member. The speaker continues to be the speaker even after the dissolution of Lok Sabha till the new house is constituted. Then once the new house is constituted, President appoints the pro tem speaker. Then pro tem speaker administered oath of office to all the members of parliament, and they become the members of Lok Sabha. Then the house is constituted. Then the procedure of election comes. So the procedure for election of speaker is that the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs communicates the date for holding the first session of Lok Sabha after general elections. It also states that the date decided by the government for election of speaker. Secretary General then submits a note including the suggestion of the Prime Minister and Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs to the President for his orders. After President approves the proposal, the members are informed of the date of election through the Parliamentary Bulletin Part 2. Then an entry regarding election of speaker is made in advance list of business issued for the date on which the election is proposed. You have to give the advance notice, naturally. Then at any time before noon on the day preceding the date so fixed, suppose today is the election, one day before, at any time before noon on the day preceding the date so fixed, any member can give notice in writing addressed to Secretary General of a motion that another member be chosen as a speaker, and the notice has to be seconded by a third member and accompanied by a statement by the member whose name is proposed that he is willing to serve as a speaker if elected. So you cannot propose your own name. Neither you are competent to second your own name. So, see, the procedure is very simple. At any time before noon on the day preceding the date so fixed, any member can give notice in writing addressed to the Secretary General of the motion that another member be chosen as a speaker, and that notice has to be seconded by a third member, and it should be accompanied by a statement by the member whose name is proposed that he is willing to serve as a speaker in the event of his election. If the date preceding the date fixed for election happens to be a Sunday or a public holiday, then the notice for election of speaker can be tabled till 3:15 p.m. on the preceding working date. A member cannot propose his own name, or he cannot second a motion proposing his own name. He cannot also propose or second more than one motion. Notice of motion for election of the candidate selected by the ruling party is normally given by the Prime Minister. Of course, otherwise, Minister for Parliamentary Affairs. The election is held under the presidency of pro tem speaker. The motion which has been moved and duly seconded is put to vote of the House one by one and decided, if necessary, by division. If any motion is carried, the person presiding, without putting later motions, declares that the member proposed is the motion which has been carried has been chosen as speaker. That is the understand. Very simple. Suppose there are 10 motions. First motion negatived, second motion defeated, third motion defeated, fourth motion the ruling party, he has been chosen with majority of the members. Then there may be sixth, seventh, eighth motion. No, that will not be voted. That will not be put to vote. Once the majority members have supported a person, they have voted for the speaker, there ends the matter. Further, there is no. Even though there is only one candidate, very important from the examination point of view, even though there is only one candidate for office, the motion regarding election must be formally put to vote and carried. You cannot take it for granted there is only one, he has been elected unopposed. No, there is no question of unopposed election for speaker. It has to be put to vote and it should be carried. Remember, immediately after the result of election is declared, the Prime Minister, leader of opposition, and the leader of the main opposition group go to the seat of the speaker-elect where he is sitting. All the three will go. Prime Minister, leader of opposition, and leader of the opposition group. All the three dignitaries will go to the seat of the speaker-elect, bow to him, respectfully bow to him, and conduct him to the chair. Felicitations will be offered by the Prime Minister and other members representing different political parties. The speaker makes a brief reply. Thereafter, the House proceeds with regular business. The election of speaker is then notified in the Gazette by the Secretariat. This is the procedure for election of speaker. And the election of speaker is by the then members of the House. Then members of the House. It is not, there is no two-third majority, etc. Then members of the House. What is then members of the House? Total membership of the House minus vacancies. That is the then members of the House. Then comes, we will see now, what is the procedure for removal of the speaker. The speaker of Lok Sabha can be removed from office by a resolution of Lok Sabha passed by the majority of all the then members of the House. Remember, the term all the then members means actual membership of the House, and the vacancies should not be taken into account. And at least 14 days notice has to be given of the intention to move such a motion. In computing the notice period, both the terminal days should be excluded. No reasons need to be given. No reasons need to be given. Only 14 days notice. No reasons need to be given. When the removal of the resolution is under discussion, Speaker cannot preside over the sitting. It can be either Deputy Speaker or any member in the panel can preside over. The speaker, of course, has the right to speak, otherwise take part in the proceedings, but he has no casting vote. He has no casting vote because he is not presiding over, number one. Number two, it is the matter concerning him. He cannot exercise the tiebreaker. That is the procedure for removal of speaker. We will end the class today. We will continue with it tomorrow. Thank you.